So welcome. This is the Surviving the Holiday Stress webinar. I would love if you can update your name to show the city and state that you are in. We will have a chance to ask questions and chat at the end, but I do want to share all the information before we get into that. Definitely make yourself comfortable. I have my cup of tea that I made at our herb workshop. My special blend to chill me out at night earlier this month. So be comfy, grab a journal or however you like to take notes. Like, even if you never look at it again, I always feel like writing stuff down helps us like remember and lock it in. And there might be things that you want to write down, like, yes, I'm going to do that now, tomorrow, this week, this weekend. So definitely take notes if that feels comfy for you. But be comfy, lay back, lounge style for sure. So I'd love to hear how those who are on live are feeling tonight. If you're doing great, drop a G in the chat. If you are all right, drop an A. If you are feeling stressed, drop an S. If you are on the struggle bus, like I am past stressed, give me a B for bus. And if you are overwhelmed, you're like, it's done. I barely I don't even know how I'm sitting here right now. Give me an O for overwhelmed. Well, I'm happy those who are on with us live are doing great, doing all right. That is what I want to hear. We have a lot of our community members on tonight. I think they are doing so great and so all right, because a lot of this stuff I'm about to share, they already know. But just like I feel like I need to hear it over and over again, I think we all need to be reminded. So for those of you who don't know us, my name is Nicole. My co-founder is Lonnie. And what we do is we bring together melanated mamas to walk alongside one another as we broaden our understanding of self-love and self-care so that we can incorporate and maintain our self-care rituals and practices. We do this through, number one, our events. So every month in our community, we have a private online community outside of Facebook, outside of the algorithm, outside of all of that, where we can connect. And every month we do what we call a self-care study. So we learn something new that can help our self-care practices. And this month, it's November 2022, we are doing a Spirituality 101. It's a night of building your spiritual practice from the ground up. So if you're not already a member, definitely a great month to join. It's only $10 right now, and you get to take part in this amazing workshop this weekend. Next month, we're doing a book club discussion and author visit. Our book is Black Joy, Stories of Resistance, Resilience, and Restoration. And the author is going to be with us as part of the discussion. I love this book because it's a bunch of short stories. So even if you don't finish, it's totally fine. You still have plenty to talk about. And we're reading it together in the community. So I'm commenting every chapter every day leading up to the event. So our members are free to kind of put their thoughts in there. So when we get to our discussion, we're kind of already in it. That's the beauty of our online community. We also have in-person events. Our next one coming up is in January 23, 22nd of 23. We're doing a self-care Sunday sip, shop, and soothe your soul right in the heart of Tampa and Ybor City. So more information will be coming out with that one very soon. And then we have our retreats. So we are doing this, the Melanated Self-Love Retreat twice next year. It's going to be two different versions, kind of like a part one and a part two. So in May and in September. So that information is going to be released just to community members this year. And then it'll be open for those outside the community to sign up next year. So why do we do this? We understand as melanated women, we have a history of being the strong ones, of giving to everyone else, family, kids, work, community, church, all the things, and not taking time for ourselves to just be and not do. So we have our online community, the virtual workshops, the in-person events and retreats. They're all designed with you in mind. This is a place where you can learn and grow together. Self-care has to be a priority, not just for ourselves, but as part of the legacy that we leave for our children. So if you haven't said it already, let us know how you were feeling in the chat. Even if you're watching this later, I still want to know how you were feeling when you watch this. Oh, okay, so someone's telling me they see a gray box over the screen. Is it this chat box that I'm moving around right now? I wonder what the gray box is. All right, I hope this does. Yes, it's the chat box.
Yes,
Okay.
it looks like your chat box and all the Zoom controls.
Oh, so the Zoom controls show.
They're showing up, but just as gray boxes.
Oh, okay. Well, that one's up top, so that's okay. I will move this picture so I don't get that. Okay. So now you won't miss any of the words. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so today we wanted to share about stress versus overwhelm. So I read this book by Brene Brown. That is an extra letter in her name. I'm sorry about that, Brene. If you watch this, I love you, and I'll spell your name right next time. Her newest book is called Atlas of the Heart. And she is talking in this book about 87 different emotions and feelings, because there is a difference. The book is amazing. I highly recommend it. But she starts off with these two emotions. And when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, every mama needs to hear this and kind of know the difference so we know how to avoid it, right? So stress, this is her definition. We feel stress when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. This includes elements of unpredictability, uncontrollability, and feeling overloaded. So drop me a heart, a whatever, a thumbs up if this sounds like life. Like when I read it, I was like, feeling overloaded. Yeah, I feel overloaded most days. And why? Why is that? How can I change that? When I read it, I was thinking like, I shouldn't be stressed all the time. How can I not feel that way? So I think this is something that we've felt is the way it is. Like how I said it when I was like, oh, well, that's how I feel. But we don't have to. Like there's things that we can do in our environment to lower the overload, or to get to a point maybe of not being overloaded. We can't predict everything. We can't control everything, of course. But when we feel like that happens a lot, like, oh, like this just popped up and this just happened, it's probably because there was an element of not planning, of not thinking something through, of putting too much on so that then, it kind of all falls down. So there's things we can do to not get to that point. Overwhelmed. So I hear people say this a lot, like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. Her definition of overwhelm means extreme stress and emotional and/or cognitive intensity to the point of feeling unable to function. So most of the time when I hear people say they're overwhelmed, I think what they really mean is they're stressed. They've evaluated the environmental demand and they're like, I don't have the ability to cope successfully, meaning I don't have the ability to do all these things. I can't get this kid here and get that kid there, and don't forget to pick up that and make the dinner. And, like I can't do all those things, right? Like I'm just stressed thinking about trying to do all those things. But overwhelm is much more extreme than that. It's to a point where you're at a breaking point. And I know some mamas have been there, and I should say some, all, me too, but it's really, really extreme. And when you get to the point of overwhelm, what she says is that you should do nothing. Like when you're at that point where really you're feeling like you're unable to function, don't try to function. That's the point where you absolutely 112% have to take the break, have to sit down, have to pass it off. And you should do that. But what I want to share with you today are some tips and tools that we've developed to make it so you don't get to that point of overwhelmed. So, how not to get to overwhelm? One way to combat these feelings is to take intentional time daily for yourself. Our community and our events allow you to do just that. So definitely make sure you get plugged in and get into our community so that you can get that encouragement and that support to practice your self-care daily. Because that's really what it is. When we slow down enough to do our own care, everything else becomes a little bit easier because our mental space is better. And when we're thinking about our own care, maybe we don't take on all the things that are going to get us overloaded because we're thinking not just what the kids need, what the spouse needs, or what the extended family needs, or what work needs, or what church needs, or what my volunteer, community organization needs. We're thinking, what do I need? And while I want to help, while I want to support, while I want the kids to have the most magical life, holiday season, everything ever, what do I need? I don't need to run 3 different kids in 3 different directions 2 nights a week. I don't need to sign up for the 5th volunteer activity of the month. Like when you start thinking about your own self-care every single day, you start thinking, what do I need? How am I going to be able to function if I take on X, Y, and Z? And then you don't get to the overwhelm. You don't get to the stress because you've thought about that. You've thought about you first. So we came up with this lovely acronym called Mama Moments, and it's about making time for you every day. I'm going to keep saying that. Not once a week, not once a month, every day. We know what we know works. Okay. So it's taking a moment that is just for you. So maybe we see here, this is some photos from our retreat, doing the yoga, or maybe it's just laying down in Shavasana in silence. We can call it yoga, we can call it meditation, whatever. It's taking that time. It's floating in the pool and not trying to get everybody snacks and move around. It's just like taking that moment for you, telling the kids to wait or get it themselves. It's taking time to journal, to write, to reflect. This was an exercise where they were reflecting on their childhood. There's a lot in that can help us with our everyday. So I'm going to break down this acronym for you. So the first letter, M, is for meditation. So meditation can come in many different forms. It is whatever works for you to have that moment where you can quiet your mind. So that can be prayer. Lonnie wakes up every morning, first thing she does is pray in bed. It can be breathing. Breathing for me is so important. I'll do it in the middle of something where I'll just like take a second and and someone will see me do it sometimes and they go, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm just breathing." But we don't breathe in that way. Like I'm breathing right now. I'm talking to you, I'm breathing, right? But those deep belly breaths, we don't do that enough. You see little kids when they're breathing, like their belly's moving, like they remember how to do it. We forget. We're so busy. Like I just did it innately when I started moving my arms, my tongue went to the top of my mouth. I closed my mouth. So yes, I'm breathing. It's coming out through my nose, but those aren't good breaths. We have to take those good breaths. And when you do that, especially if it's not normal, it's a great way to focus on your breath because you're thinking, breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 4. Like you got to think about that. My mind just went blank just right then. Silence. That's the other way to meditate. So it can be with a guided meditation playing. It can be with some sound frequencies, some music, playing, or it can be just literally quiet. You lay in your bed. You go hide in the closet if it's got to be that way. You just take a moment to just like, I'm not going to try and think about anything. I'm not going to try and figure it out. I'm just going to be quiet right now. And that is a huge reset button. It's like turning it off and turning it back on. Okay, so our A is affirmations. So this is encouraging yourself. And so I said on here, bonus points for looking yourself in the eye when you do it. It's a huge thing. It's something we did at the retreat, was literally we went into the bathroom and we looked in our eyes and we told ourselves all the things that we know and believe. I'm looking up because I was looking in the mirror. But you're beautiful, you're strong, you got this, you know, whatever it is that you need to hear. For me, I just sing India.Arie's I Am Light. I did that yesterday. I got off the phone with someone that annoyed the holy out of me. And I just went outside, I sat down and I played India.Arie, I Am Light. And I was just like, I am not, okay, I won't sing for y'all. But if you don't know the song, listen to it. If you know the song, you know what I'm talking about. And those were affirmations. It was a moment of silence. In a way, it was I shouldn't say moment of silence. It was meditation. And it helped. The next M is for movie. So this is my way of telling you visualization. So this is playing that movie in your head of the situation that you desire to happen. So this could be as simple as how your day is going to go. And it could be a regular day. Like, I'm just with the kids and we're going to the park and I don't want them to run in the street and I want them to not fight with each other, you know, whatever it is. But instead of saying all that, you're like literally playing it. We got in the car, they had their shoes. It was amazing. It took them like 2 minutes to get out. They went, you know, visualize the whole thing. Or it can be as big as where you're going to be a year from now. And you visualize yourself doing whatever that thing is, having whatever those things are that you desire, that you're working towards. So maybe it's your business is at a certain place, your marriage is at a certain place, your kids are, you know, doing, you know, chores around the house, you know, whatever it is that you want to happen, it's you playing that movie like it's already there. That is how we trick our mind. We have a blog on our website, and that was one of the things I talked about in my last blog was tricking your subconscious, because it's going to believe what you tell it. So if you're playing this movie of this perfect day at the park or this year from now with all this amazing stuff that's already happened, your mind begins to believe that. And when your mind believes it, it's like it's already happened. So as you move through the day in the world, it's like the universe is already working with you to do that thing that you just played the movie about. So A is a break. So I love this one. I actually looked at this list yesterday. I was sitting in my office. I had a very trying week this past week. And yesterday I was trying to get back to normal, but it wasn't working for me. And I literally looked at the mama moments and I was like, what can I do right now? I'm still not feeling right. And I was like, oh, break. I can color. And that's what I did. I colored 2 whole pictures because it was all I could do in that moment. It was all I could do. And it was, and I'm a person that needs to do. So that's why I have the break in there. If you are a person who's like, I need to do a thing, I need to check it off. Well, I've just given you a break to check off on your list. Nap, color, listen to music, watch or read something for fun. It's just a, whatever a break means to you. If it's something different than what I wrote there, feel free to share it in the chat. I'll add it to the slide. But whatever it is, that's just fun. You know, maybe it's gardening or something like that. You know, I didn't write that down because that's not something I do, but that's a good one. We should add that to the list. But it can be anything, but it's just literally like, there's no goal here. I am just doing something for me. I'm just doing something that's fun. Just a break. Okay. The next M is move. So this is so important. And when I say this, I don't mean you need to get your cardio and your exercise in. You do need to do that. I'm not gonna take away from that. So that's why I said bonus points. If you get your heart rate up and you do it for at least 30 minutes, that's a workout. That's awesome. And that is something you should do. But when I say move in this way, I just mean move your body. So that can be yoga. And I'm not talking about a whole sweat session in the hot yoga. It could just be like 10 minutes of morning stretches. It could be dance, and it could be a whole Zumba class, or it could just be you turn on yet one song that makes you move your hips and you just dance. It could be in the kitchen, it could be in the yard, it could be somewhere where you can embarrass your kids. That's what I did today. I'm even embarrassed other people's kids. It was fun. And I moved my hips. It could be strength training, walking, running, jogging, it could be whatever, but it's just moving your body. We spend a lot of time, right? What I'm doing right now, sitting in a chair, sitting in the car, sitting at practice, watching our kids, sitting at the office. We're just sitting. I heard somebody say, sitting is the new smoking. So anything that is up and moving, it counts and it does something for you. Somatic healing is a whole thing. Google it. All right. Oh, outside. So outside is all about going outside, not to do anything specific. And one thing I'll remind you at the end, as I've said already, you can combine these things. So like I told you, I went outside and I turned on the music that for me put me in a meditative state, and I said affirmations. So it's not like these things have to be done separately. It's not like every one of them has to be done every day. You just need to take a moment for yourself every day that includes some of these things, or several moments, depending on the day, depending on what's available. So outside is a great one because anything just about that you can do inside, you can do outside. So maybe spending time outside is checking your emails on your laptop, sitting on the patio or on the porch. It's not doing cartwheels in the grass, but you are outside, you are breathing that good air. It's going to feel a little bit better than sitting in your office or sitting on the couch or sitting at the kitchen table. So I just like to remind people of that. It's just anything that you can do, almost anything you can do inside, you can do outside. So get creative about, maybe we eat dinner outside. Maybe I am talking to my friend and I, go outside, or maybe I am coloring and I go outside. I mean, just anything that needs to be done. The meal prep, maybe you're putting your Walmart order in on your phone. You could sit outside and put the Walmart order in on your phone, right? So anything. I said that because I need to put a Walmart order in on my phone. The next M is meals. Make a plan to eat a nutrient-dense meals. Planning is key. We, for the most part, by this age and stage in our lives, have a pretty good idea of what we should eat. We can learn more, we can do better in knowledge, but we know the thing that gets us is the planning, is doing the order and thinking about what the meals are and having it ready, prepping all or parts of it so that you can have it. So when you're not feeling your best, sometimes it is the nutritional aspect. Your body is like, but I need some vegetables, but I need some protein. You've just given me coffee today. Like it's talking to you and you're feeling like, one of the things you can think about is like, what did I eat? Oh, yeah, I probably need to get some protein in my system. I need some fruits and vegetables in my system. I need some water in my system. Bonus points for drinking half your weight in water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 pounds of water. Ounces, 200 pounds, 100 ounces, sorry. 160 pounds, 80 ounces. So really think about that because it's important to how your body functions. We're more than half water. We need to replenish that. And it does change how we feel. The E is for educate. So we know lots of things. We don't know everything. So it's a great moment when we can learn something new, expand our horizons. It gives us more to talk about when we're with other people. It gives us a better understanding of whatever it is we're listening or learning about. And this can be reading or this can be listening. It could even be watching, right? So there's so many ways to get this in, but taking a moment to, we stress with our kids, the importance of their education, whether they're in school, homeschool, whatever, we're on them, like learn this, that, or the other. And it's like, learning doesn't stop. It doesn't stop when you're not in school or when you hit 18 or 25 or whatever. Like we need to keep that going. That's another way to grow ourselves. So the E for educate is a great one to make sure that's added into your week. All right. So N is notes. And this is writing. So write in your journal, and you can write about anything. And I've had this conversation with Lonnie before. She shared with the community that when she first thought about journaling, it was like, okay, I have my journal. There's this whole page. I need to fill the whole thing up today. She has learned that is not the case. Some days you got a sentence to say. Some days you got, I had a trying week I mentioned to you. I wrote like 6 pages, but a few days before that, it was just a couple sentences of gratitude. That was all I had in me that day. So it's whatever you need it to be, but getting some of it out on paper and getting in the habit of using the journal to do those things is really therapeutic. So you could reflect on your day, you could reflect on your feelings, your dreams. If you have good dreams, writing them down, because later on you can try and, get some connections is really cool. And your gratitude. If you're not a journal person, if you've not done this before, or if you're in a space where even thinking to write about your feelings or your day just feels like, ugh, gratitude. Whether it's one thing, 3 things, 5 things that happened to you in the last 24 hours that you are grateful for. And it could be as simple as the lady took my cart and brought it into the store so I could get in my car and drive away with my kids. It could be as big as, my husband did the dishes without me asking. That could be big in some houses, not in others. But gratitude is a great way to start when it comes to journaling. And sometimes it's a brain dump, right? We're saying our head is so full, we have all these things. Sometimes the journal is the note on my phone where I just say, these are all the things that I'm thinking about, and I just get them out. Like my daughter lost a ballet shoe. I need to go get a new shoe. She also needs bigger hangers because she's getting bigger now and the clothes are falling off the hanger. And my son needs a Black Panther shirt because we're going to see the movie. And my husband needs, like, just get it all down on a note, in a book, on the phone, whatever. That counts. And it feels better when it's all somewhere that's not just here. Because then we feel like, I'm gonna forget the ballet shoe. And that's gets us moving towards that stress, overwhelm situation. Okay, T is for talk. So two ways I think about this. Number one, I'm a huge proponent of therapy and counseling for mental health. So highly recommend speaking to someone regularly. I talk to my therapist every 2 weeks. I have friends that do it monthly, quarterly. I have a friend that does it weekly. It's whatever you need, but it is being on a regular rotation with that. And the other part of talk is family and friends. So how many times have we said, oh, you see them and you're like, oh, we need to get together. We need to talk. We need to catch up. Oh my gosh, I love you. I miss you. I blah, 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 blah. If those things are true, sometimes people just say that. But if it's true, you love them, you miss them, you want to talk to them, you want to do it. Do it. I've caught up with my friends on a walk. Like, I'm gonna go walk. I can't walk with you because you live an hour away. I'm going to talk to you while I do this walk. It isn't my best cardio, fastest walk ever, right? Because I'm having a conversation. And I'm old school because this is not a phone, but y'all know. But I got 30 minutes of moving my body, going outside, and talking to my friend. That's a win. No, my heart rate was not over, fat burning level, but I got those 3 things in. That's a win. And we have to find those times to fit it in. And sometimes we have to schedule it. I hadn't talked to my cousin in like 3 weeks. And I was just like, girl, can we just put it on the calendar? Because if it's on the calendar, I won't forget. I won't not do it. And we scheduled it one day for like 3 o'clock. We were both tired and wanted to nap at 3 o'clock. So we ended up talking that night at 7. But because it was on the calendar, it was like we didn't forget. Whereas if it would have just been a text like, we're going to talk later, we're going to catch up on Tuesday, then we forget. So connect with those people you love. It definitely can change your mood and put you in a different space that maybe you can't be in because they're not right there with you. But that time, like my cousin lives in Atlanta, I live in Tampa, that time with her on the phone is really important. She understands me, unlike many people that are in my life. And so when I get those conversations with her, it's really special. She knows more about me than most people. And I can open up, I can share things that I don't always share in my everyday life. And that's important. And it's also just important to keep the connections alive, calling grandma and grandpa and your aunts and uncles and, doing a quick FaceTime, it doesn't have to be long. You can put it at a time where it's like, okay, I love grandma and I want to catch up, but I don't have an hour. So you preface that call and say, hey, grandma, I got 5 minutes, but I miss you. Tell me what, this, that, or the other. See the kids' faces, boom, boom. You connected, but you didn't have to stay on the phone for an hour with grandma. Like, hey, we're running into soccer, but we love you and we just had to see you. Here's everybody. Tell me the 2 things that you got to tell me and bye. So that is our T talk. So S, the last letter in moments, is stop. If things don't feel right, stop and ask yourself, what do you need? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I in need of connection? Do I have all this stuff on my mind that I need to get out? Do I have all these big feelings that I need to get out? Like, what is it? The answer most likely will be found in a mama moment. If you take the time to do 1, 2, 3 of those things, you'll come closer back to your homeostasis, where you feel like you and you feel right. You don't feel stressed. You don't feel overwhelmed. And that is really, really, really important. So I added an extra S just because, it made the page even. And that is share. So remind other mamas to take a mama moment. Tell them about our community. Have them join us at the next lounge. We do a free lounge event every single month. Tell them about the community and what we have going on. But if nothing else, just tell them about Mama Moments and to take that time for themselves and what it means and how you think it can help them. Because I know you probably have examples, especially after hearing it, of going, I should do that more because when I did this or that or the other, it really did help. So definitely share. So as a reminder, and especially like when you're going to share with others, I want you to remember how this line goes. Every day is not going to be a great day. Every day we're not going to be like, oh, great. Like that's life, right? All right is, I feel like our days are probably going to go between great and all right, if we're taking care of ourselves, because some days are just longer than others. Some days, stuff happens, whatever. But when we get to that point where we're at the middle and we're like, oh, I'm stressed. I feel like there's too many things. I don't know where they're going. This is where we need to ask ourselves, what do we need? And then do it. Take the time. Say, babe, I can't do X, Y, and Z. Kids, I'm sorry, that's going to have to wait until next week. And go do whatever the thing is you need to do so you don't get to the struggle bus, so you don't get to the overwhelm, because that is our goal. Our goal is not to get here. So I'm just going to breathe for just a second because I just talked a whole lot. I really want to share with you about our community and the reasons that we think you should join. So you want to join because you want the accountability and support that our community will provide. When you're in a community that is daily, weekly, monthly talking about self-care and self-love, it's going to rub off, okay? You know how important it is. And you need that accountability to take the action. I know that I need that accountability to take the action. You're ready to meet like-minded friends. We have lots of, friends, acquaintances, people, family in our community, but they're not all on the same journey. So if something brought you here to listen to this, more than likely you're on that journey where you are healing yourself. You are working on your self-love, your self-care, the time for you, building yourself up. And that's what we're here for. Different self-care and self-love practices and routines. That is what we are sharing in the community. So when you join our community, you get a general forum to connect, share, receive accountability on your self-care journey. You also get our monthly virtual self-care study. So we bring in a guest lecturer or we feature a melanated female author to explore self-love topics. You also get discounts on our in-person events and our retreats. So this is what some mamas are saying about our community. Daisy, a mom of one, she said, I love that all the topics and events are a way to focus on mom and not the children. We have enough of those groups. You know, we're good moms. We're in those groups, we're in those clubs, we're in those co-ops, we do the things for our kids. This group is just for us. We actually thought about doing an event that included the kids, and we were like, no, that's not what this group is about. This group is about the mamas. Since joining the community in January, I have thought about myself more this year than I ever have. Previously, I spent more time thinking about what to do and rarely thought about what I needed. Being a part of this community and having the ongoing support and accountability has truly been life-changing for me. This is one of our community members, and she has been riding with us since January, since we started our, very first event. And I mean, this is why we do what we do. Not only for her and all of our community members and you, I mean, for us, because we've been thinking about ourselves in the same way that she has over this last year, and not being so caught up in what she said, like, what do I need to do? What's next? What's next? Get the shoes, get the thing, take them there. It's like, no, what do I need? And that feels so much better. And we still do all those other things, but it feels better when we're doing it. Another community member said, I have attended every workshop and all the topics have been parts of my life that I need to work on. I was able to let go of some of the guilt that I had and learn to deal with things. It's helping me grow as a person. Again, this is what this is all about. We want to learn new things. We want to grow ourselves, and we want to do it in community. And so that's why we created this community. So I see some stuff going on in the chat. I'm gonna check in there. Can I see it? Okay. I got hearts all around. Couldn't agree more. This is a great page to screenshot. I don't know which page it was, but feel free. Does anybody have any final thoughts from today? Anything you think I need to add to any of my letters? Something that you enjoyed, learned, surprised you? Please feel free to share. The check-in page. Oh, the check-in. Yeah, like, where are you? Yes, we need to post that on social for sure. All right, well, I appreciate you guys being here and listening live. We hope to see you at our upcoming events this Sunday, Self-Care Study Spirituality 101. If you are going to attend, either buy your ticket. If you're not already a community member, it's only $10, and you also get 30 days as a community member. If you are a community member, go into Mighty Networks, click going, and drop the information that we need to share with our guest lecturer. And then grab the book, whether you read it with us or not. I'm telling you, it's so good. Black Joy, Stories of Resistance, Resilience, and Restoration. Can't wait to meet the author in December. And can't wait to see you guys at all these in-person events and retreats coming up next year. So, oh, there's my alarm. Make the Walmart list.